All right, first of all, drink to that. We got the dub, victory. We beat USC. Playoff hopes are still alive. We're 1-0 in Big Ten play. Obviously, there's a lot to cover here. We're going to go through the offense, the defense, some conclusions, plus some recruiting visitors I want to touch on. Before we get to our callers, thanks to our callers waiting here early. Yeah, John, we got a lot to talk about here. But
yeah, let's real quick.
What a roller coaster ride, but yeah, get to it, John.
Yeah, just because we've got already a membership and a super chat.
Yep.
Actually, we got 2 super chats and a membership. So first of all, we want to thank our member, and for whatever reason, I can't pull it up right this second. But we do have a membership, and we want to thank them. They have joined the Leaders and Best tier. So it is Anton Webster. So thank you, Anton, for joining Leaders and Best. You already helped us get to 97 to go. We got Elisha here. What a classic. Thank you, Elisha, for being here again, and go Blue. And yes, I agree with you. And of course, we got Blue Wolverine holding it down. Our buddy, throw a Blue Wolverine in the chat for us. $20. Hail to the victors. And Grant almost gave me a heart attack. A lot of people almost gave me a heart attack in this game, but absolutely. So thank you all so much. And we're already on the road now to a second hour. So we really do. And another one, too. We got Drufus. I need to renew. Help me. So if you go to, somebody can post the link to the join link where it'll let you re-up that way. But we'll post that for you right here. I just did it. But go Blue Drufus. And Jordan, here we go with the 5. God bless and go Blue. Richie Dubs, I'll be looking for you on Menace. I think there's going to be some other people that are going to be looked for on Menace who've been talking some shit. Say hashtag just give me my money. So already with Wolverine Nation showing up on the super chats.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the boys are coming through. The team is coming through. The community is coming through. Thank you. Shout out to everybody. As they know, for every 100 through memberships, super stickers, super chats, we will go an extra hour. We have done 2 post games in a row, John, 5 hours. We have done 2 5-hour post games. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm here for the good long run here. Okay. We got the Brewskis going, good vibes, good victory. Lots to talk about. Was it perfect? No.
Got granola bars.
There you go.
We're good.
John ready for the long haul. All right. So let's get into the offense a little bit here.
Yeah. Let's take our medicine first. And we could talk. I'm calling this going full Iowa. Is what I'm calling this. Full Iowa. In other words, and all respect to Iowa, but Iowa has a great defense, special teams, they play field position, and offense is limited mostly to the run game and some tight ends. So with that said, I mean, I guess from an offensive perspective, did you notice that Sharon Moore's influence in the play calling has increased? Because I saw some concepts resurrected that I haven't seen since 23, and maybe I've missed it, but the I formation with Bredesen blocking, Khalil going through, they needed it in that last play of the game badly, and they brought it back at just the right time. But the quarterback situation, I think, can best be described as the best of the evils. In other words, no interceptions from Orgy. The turnovers came from elsewhere. So I guess what were you seeing on the offense, good, bad, and ugly?
Well, at first, the offense looked physical and effective in the beginning of the game, early in the game. But what really frustrated me throughout the game, but at the end of the game, obviously, I think it corrected itself. The push to put Donovan Edwards ahead of Khalil Mullins. So if we look at the stats here, Khalil Mullins did end up with 17 carries, 159 yards, and 2 touchdowns with a 9.4 average. Donovan Edwards has 14 carries, 74 yards, 5.3 average, and 1 touchdown. Obviously, the costly fumble, which basically made Sharon Moore have to put Mullins ahead of Edwards. But what concerns me, and I know we have a lot of positivity, but just a slight concern here is the force feeding of Donovan Edwards and not seeing that Khalil Mullins is without question RB1. This should not be a debate anymore. Just like Davis Warren, wasn't the answer at QB1. I think that we need to really give Khalil Mullins the full responsibility here and utilize Donovan Edwards. This is not me saying take Donovan Edwards off the field. No, he's a weapon. But utilize him, put him in the slot. Occasional handoffs. For majority of the game, Donovan Edwards had almost double the carries as Khalil Mullins, which is crazy to me. And Khalil Mullins had almost double the average. So 5.3 average isn't bad. But I think we all know with the way our offense is right now, our lack of passing ability. Alex Orji, 7 for 12. 32 yards. 32 yards.
Yeah.
You need a running threat in Khalil Mullins. Okay. Now, granted, Colston Levin was not in today. Now, I'll say this too about Alex Orji. In my opinion, short to intermediate needs to be his game. I do think he's capable of doing some crossing routes, some slants. I think they need to do a better job of putting his wide receivers in a position for him to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
He's capable of throwing the ball, just not down the field. Like, not accurately, at least. Like, obviously, he has the arm, the power. But, that's where we are there with the offense. I will say this was an impressive stat. Almost 200 yards at the half to USC's -16 rushing. That was impressive. And then I will say this about the offense. It's a work in progress. This is the first start of Alex Orji. Very interesting to see how this evolves. What do they do with it? I would like to see our wide receivers do more. And I'm sure some of the callers will call in and talk about how Samaje Morgan was wide open on that play and Alex Orji didn't see him. That's just kind of where we are, John. What is your thoughts on the offense?
Yeah, I'll give my thoughts, and then I'll get to all these other super chats because we've already gotten a second hour unlocked.
Let's go. Hey,
and
John,
we're working
9 minutes into the show. The second hour has been reached. Let's go.
Let's go. Thank you all, Wolverine Nation. I mean, look, I think a couple of things are clear. Alex Orji can take care of the football. Alex Orji can act as a running back, as a run threat at times. But you have to play call to his strengths. And I saw some of that. There was more pistol today. There was more, there was the I formation play, which I thought was needed. But I think what we were really missing, TJ, is Colston Loveland. I'm betting that there were some concepts that were past concepts for Colston Loveland, because his ability to get open he's 6'5", his ability to just be automatic in the receiving game, I think he was sorely missed in this game. And when I heard he was down, I was like, shit, we're screwed. I'm not gonna lie. When I heard that news that he wasn't playing, I did not have like a funny disposition about it. And somehow Michigan found a way, despite Lincoln Riley's, look, they made their plays just like Ohio did, in those games, and just like Washington did. And, look, they made their plays. We knew they were going to. But at the end of the day, the offense did just enough, mixed with, and we're going to get to the defense, but mixed with some really good defensive plays from some key people. I'm calling it full Iowa, because without Colston Loveland, and I mean, technically Iowa has tight ends too that can pass. So, but it's like, it's full Iowa right now.
Respectfully though, it's actually worse than Iowa.
That's
like, at least Iowa gets like 100 yards passing.
Yeah, this is rough.
But Iowa doesn't have a running threat, right? So that's the dual threat there with Alex Orji. I do expect this to improve though. You're going against a USC team that is arguably a playoff contender, a solid squad. What we did today was a major victory. Like, this is a major victory against good team, a very good team. This team beat LSU, guys. Now I know LSU has looked how it's looked. Even so, it's still a victory against a strong SEC team. Miller Moss is no joke. And let's get into how about this? Read the super chats, and then we'll get into the defense, John.
Yes, and there are some. So Wolverine Nation showing up, showing out tonight. Everybody's celebrating, and look, this is the time, man. Because look, I'm so happy to be wrong on my prediction. I'm so happy to be wrong on my prediction.
Yeah.
You guys don't even know. Drufus, welcome back to the Connor Stallions espionage tier. So thank you, Drufus, for coming back and becoming a Connor Stallions member. That's the highest tier membership. Scumbag Steve also just joined the Leaders and Best tier recently, and he just thrown us a 5 there. the pressure getting to Moss was the difference maker. It could have gotten ugly if we never got home. And yeah, TJ, you were talking about the lack of sacks in the previous game. Well, there were some sacks in this game, multiple. So that absolutely true.
Yeah. So well, just to get on, like we saw, like obviously in the first half we were getting a lot of pressure, we were getting sacks, and then in the third quarter it kind of quieted down, and they were doing a bit of a rotation with the second unit, which we'll talk about. We'll get more into the defense, but they started playing like TJ Guy instead of Derek Moore and Josiah Stewart, and we saw a lack of pressure, and that is when USC started making their run back. So very interesting. No question, pressure is key for this team to succeed.
Absolutely. Thank you, Scumbag Steve. And not a scumbag, you know, because you know what? You super chatting, you're membershiping.
You're our scumbag, damn it.
See, is he an Ohio fan?
No, that's the other Steve. No, that's my arch nemesis, Steve. Not Scumbag Steve. Scumbag Steve's a good one.
Elisha with the 2, defense played outstanding regardless of score. I think for a lot of the game, you're right. There were some questionable Wink Martindale decisions, which we'll get to, but I would say across the board, the defense made the plays needed to win the game. And whether it's Will Johnson or whether it was Josiah Stewart, we're going to get to all of that. But like Josiah Stewart was cooking that left tackle, especially in the first half. So the Rod with the 2, love this one. Welcome to the Big Ten USC. Nice win, Blue. Even the Buckeyes super chatting today. That's the gravity of this situation. We got Moose, everybody with the Moose emoji, with the 2, TJ and John, my boys. What is up? What is up, Moose? Cheers. Whatever you're celebrating. We do appreciate you always being here and showing up. And here's one. This is one right here. Jim is throwing the stacks, man. $50. Thank you. Congrats, Mish fans. John and TJ, always a good watch. I admit my pick was wrong. Don't beat yourself up, man. Everybody picked USC on our panel. So
yeah, my pick was wrong, Jim. John's pick was wrong. Tim Prangley's pick was wrong. Matt Zennick's pick was wrong. Mark Rogers picked Michigan to win, by the way. So shout out to Mark Rogers. Shout out to Mark Rogers. Yep, he sure did.
We got GT in the house with the 10. My takeaways: our coaches got out adjusted at halftime. I agree for the most part. You know, we really need Loveland. No argument there. Our O-line is getting better when I'm going to add when Crippen is in the game, especially. But yes,
that first run by Mullins, actually, you know, I'm sure we all saw Judice made the excellent block there. So I thought the O-line, that's something actually I didn't talk on. The O-line looked a lot better. A lot better. Even Evan Link. They all look better. That's what time on task, cohesion, reps will do. And that's the offensive line really building. It still has work to do. It's not as elite as last year's offensive line. We know that. But very promising. And they still played some bully ball. They got the job done. Well done.
Mullings needs to be running back 1 and possibly QB.
Hey, he can do it all.
Do it all, man. Yeah. Remember that time he threw a pass and it completed? So, hey.
He can do it all.
He can do it all. And number 5, Texas is really good. I think Texas might win it all, man. Texas looks legit. So, and with Arch Manning.
First of all, F Texas. Second of all, yeah, they do look good. So we'll see how they go. They're number 1 in the nation right now. We went up against number 1 in the nation. We'll see how it goes. You know, we'll see how they do. Matthew Miller.
Speaking of Texas, with the 5 here, Matt Miller hosts our Texas Longhorns live show at the Texas channel and the SEC. Hell of a win. Apparently, Charmin Soft Lincoln is still soft. Your D-line will be able to overwhelm most of the opponents you have left. Your lips to the football god's ears, but I don't disagree.
Yeah, well, I mean, Matt knows Texas has arguably, likely, the best offensive line in the nation, and they definitely did a good job against our defensive line. I think, if anything, Matt Miller should feel more confident about his squad the way they beat us. But, yeah, I mean, I think looking at the schedule, if we're looking at, so we got Minnesota next. I mean, we should be able to handle that. We're going to get into that, obviously, as we talk. But, you know, looking at the schedule, look, this game opens a lot of doors for playoff potential, Big Ten championship potential. You know, we'll see one game at a time, but it's looking promising. I mean, it was definitely a promising win today.
For sure. We got Josephine with the 2. Wink defense had to take chances to make things happen. You're not wrong there. And you know, look, I do think the decision making holistically was better. I do think that there's still a little too much on the blitz, a little too, like there was a wide open missed connection, a missed assignment there, which caused the 1 TD. So, and there's room for improvement, but I think more than anything else, our guys played tough. Our guys played with heart, and they played like 23 Michigan from a mentality perspective on defense.
I agree.
They were swarming USC, and it reminded me of last year.
Yeah, and that's like one of the things we're going to touch on with, like, you know, one of my keys here is the physicality and energy. They brought it. The defense brought it, and it was nice to see.
Absolutely. Let's see. Cody Mumford, one of our YouTube members, with the 10. Call me crazy, but I saw a lot of fight in this team, but I believe less in the coaching staff. There were no offensive adjustments in the second half. The fact that we didn't attempt anything deep is wild.
Well, I would. So, all right, I'm with you on a lot of that. I would say, forget attempting anything deep. It amazes me the lack of attempting at short to intermediate throws. Because
anything,
Alex Rogie actually looked fairly capable. Like, in some of his throws within 10 yards, like, he can do that. Like, he can do that. So, I think the timing of the plays was interesting as well. Listen, I think the coaching staff, it's still to be determined here. I mean, I think there's a lot of questions. We will get into that, but yeah, I mean, I'm not sold. A good victory. They got the win. You can't take it away, but there's definitely some questions to be had.
For sure. Elisha with the 5. TJ was right when we finally got pressure from Grant and Graham.
Yeah, and we saw that. I mean, that defensive line looked elite today. I mean, Graham looks healthy, so he looks back. He was a monster. Kenneth Grant, great game outside of the fumble. You gotta 5 points of pressure, my friend. 5 points of pressure. Hold on to that ball. He'll work on it. But yeah, I mean, the D line looks nasty. And Rayshon Benny is another one. Looked very good. TJ Guy, I was actually a little disappointed about. He did get a sack later in the game, I think. But yeah, defensive line looks great. The linebacker core, we got some questions though. We're gonna get into that though.
This is an interesting one, TJ. Prepare yourself for this one. Michigan Jeeper, go blue with the 10. Good evening, gentlemen. TJ, you're my man crush. I'm so frustrated with Edwards being running back 1. When the wind blows too hard, he goes down. Mullings saved the day. And then any chance of Tuttle starting?
So Tuttle's still injured. So is I think Jaden Davis is also injured right now. So no, not right now. But I mean, that Tuttle thing, I'll tell you right now, Keith Rebar, he's waiting in line. So Jack Tuttle may come to fruition one day. But yeah, I mean, it is frustrating, the Edwards situation. That is frustrating as hell. But Sharon Moore does have a policy. Turnovers are unacceptable. We saw Davis Warren get benched. We saw when Edwards fumbled the ball, Khalil Mullings toted the rock, as it should be. If anyone followed me on social media today, I was all over the Khalil Mullins Edwards situation. It was frustrating the hell out of me. And then, yeah, again, on the quarterback situation, we're just got to see. Minnesota's next. We'll see what Orji can do with that. Good news is he protected the ball, though. You know, he did his job. The epitome of a game manager, though, I'll tell you that.
You're not wrong. So thank you for the 10 there.
Yeah, thank you.
Elisha with the 5. Go blue again, and good to see Jair Hill and Zeke Berry make huge plays. It's about time for Jair Hill, right?
Jair got burned a little bit, but he did make some plays. Again, this is a young corner learning and growing, so he's going to have some growing pains. I thought Amir Hall looked good again. I thought Amir Hall, this is another one. I think Amir Hall should be starting. So I do like Jair Hill. I don't think he shouldn't. This is not me saying he shouldn't play. He should play. But in my opinion, Amir Hall should be starting. We'll see what's going on with Will Johnson, though, because then Amir Hall may be starting, right? Even with Jair Hill. So we'll find out there. I don't know what's going on with Will Johnson, though. He ran up the tunnel. He looked okay. I mean, I don't know. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Let's just hope that I mean,
Yeah,
he's going to be needed down the stretch
Yep.
playing Oregon and OSU.
Yep.
So look, if you, I'm going to say this, I'm going to say it flat out, and all respect to Daniel House, who's going to be our guest on Tuesday from Gophers Guru for the Minnesota game. You got to rest Will Johnson and put him in some bubble wrap for a bit. I'm okay with it against Minnesota because you need him for Oregon and OSU. So do what you need to do. Chris with the 5. Welcome to the Big Ten USC. There's a lot of that going around. Go Blue, absolutely. And this might be your first super chat. So thank you, Chris.
So. Yeah, thank you, Chris. We appreciate it. And he's not wrong because that was some physicality, bully ball, and they couldn't handle it. So that's the reality of the Big Ten. Welcome to the Big Ten.
Yeah, I mean, even the Buckeyes are saying "Welcome to the Big Ten," which is where you know. Hostage take Curtis with the 5. Will Orgy ever pass for 120? I don't know.
I do. Someone's gonna break one.
Loveland.
Yeah, someone will break one. They will. You know, US. Listen, I actually think U.S. defense is solid. It's looked solid so far.
It's good.
Yeah, with
I'd even say good. D'Anton Lynn came in. Installed a good system.
The sample size is small, but they've looked solid. D'Anton Lynn's comes from the Ravens scheme, like the Ravens tree. We'll see. You know, as we get more games under our belt, we'll see the reality here. But I do think Orgy will be getting. I think Orgy will even get maybe a 200-yard passing game. I really do. I think here's why though. Somebody's going to break. Somebody's going to get long runs. Colson Lovin will be back. I think we will. Now we'll be against one of the top teams, probably not, but one of the lower teams on the schedule, likely. You know, maybe Michigan State.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? I was getting cooked for a minute on Twitter X about my Edwards take that I just don't think it's good enough for RB1, but I'm not saying don't use Donovan Edwards. Use it in this situation when there's a pass opportunity, when there's a slot opportunity, because he's a really good receiver and he's got speed. And I think that's a much cleverer way to use his talent than running up the middle. Just doesn't make sense.
To be on the field, but Khalil Mullins needs to be RB1. Like put Edwards in the slot or do some two running back sets, or occasionally give Mullins a rest. But Mullins needs to be your priority. It needs to be probably a 70-30 split, in my opinion, is what it should be.
Yep. And then Elisha with the 5. Orgy's rollout pass to Klein was actually a good ball, even though it was incomplete. There were a few of those.
It was a little behind. But it does show his capabilities, though. He can throw on the run. And to be honest, the defender did a great job of closing the gap there because Klein did have the step there, but Orgy did throw it a little behind. Klein had to make the correction there. But I think there is definitely some promise there. I think Orgy is capable of doing short to intermediate throws. They need to get more creative in the freaking passing game. The playbook's got to get more creative. I like the end around they did, though.
Yeah, end around was good. An I formation with Bredesen, like I said before, they pulled that out at the absolute perfect time, and I think that was a Sharon Moore because that was what we saw last year, and that almost worked 100% of the time when they ran I formation with Bredesen and they ran either Corum or Edwards or Mullings in that formation. It tended to work. It tended to get what you needed. So I'm glad to see it in the most important play happen again. The Bull is a 3-month member. So the Bull is a YouTube member here at the Voice of College Football Michigan channel, and you too can become a member for as low as just $2.99. You get the emojis, you get access to special streams and special hangouts. We try to give priority to your comments and all of that good stuff. So consider becoming a member just like Bull has for 3 months straight. And he says, welcome to the motherfucking Big Ten, boys. Smash. Orgy will get 200 yards against Minnesota.
Hey, how do you think Tim's feeling right now? Hey, Moose, how do you think Tim's feeling right now? Go send him a DM. Let me know.
And the super chats just keep coming, and we really do appreciate it, guys. Elisha with the 2, Link at right tackle continues to be an issue. I think he improved.
I would say better game today. Is it where it needs to be? No. Better game, though. Better game. And I definitely saw him pulling out, doing some good pulls. He wasn't getting knocked on his ass like he was previously as much. So does he need to hold his blocks longer? Yes, but it was definitely better than prior games.
Absolutely. Elisha with the 5, Mullings didn't get a single carry in the second half until the Edwards fumble, which is crazy. Yeah. I mean,
yeah, that was my point. And I was texting John this, and if anyone was following me on social media, I was not happy about this. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand. It doesn't make sense to me. It's something that definitely needs to be corrected, and I think it will be. Hopefully, going forward, that they make the right, adjustment here.
Yup. And they just keep rolling. So Kyle with the 5, this season is going to be a roller coaster. Defense looks great, but this offense play calling is so predictable, and Orgy has no touch. Yeah, I mean, I saw a little bit in the play calling. I got to give credit. I've been very critical. I'm going to give credit where I see positivity. And there were 5 or 6 moments in this game that I saw positivity and a little bit of difference in the play calling, but it's still not good enough to beat Ohio State. I think that's the bottom line.
My cousin gave me a call on the way. I made a beer run real quick, and I was like, look, the offense is going to make games very stressful. The defense we are in a position right now where we got more super chats, but our defense is going to have to come every game. If they do not come every game, our offense is not going to win us games. I can't imagine our offense. Although I will say this, it's possible we dominate on running the ball. If Khalil Mullins runs like this, we're gonna take care. Like, we're gonna definitely control games. But when you become one-dimensional, defenses can easily scheme against you. And one team particular I'm looking at in the next 3 weeks, which is Illinois, Brett Bielema is going to scheme. They're going to scheme very hard against our run. We ain't going to be able to. We got to get creative. Illinois is definitely going to be. I look at Illinois as a more challenging opponent than Washington in the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, because he's still pissed about 22.
Oh yeah.
So that's a revenge game for him.
Their basketball team, their football team, they got issues with us, man.
Josephine with the 5, in a sense, Orgy did execute in a big game with a lot of pressure. Very true.
No, I mean, it's a great point, Josephine. Think about this. First start in his career, he gets the victory against USC, ranked number 11 in the nation. Hell of a victory for your first start.
Absolutely. And maybe this will be a big confidence booster, at least as a game manager. I mean, this has to be a big confidence booster. Like, this is a top 11 opponent. They're legit. They did beat LSU, and I'm not saying LSU is a world beater this year, but you know, look, they had to win that game. They had to find a way to win that game, and in this case, Michigan found a way to win. Yeah,
I mean, LSU is undefeated this season. Okay, like, yeah, it was against Utah State and LSU, but even so, like, you're going against. Listen, this is a blue blood. This is Lincoln Riley's offense. Our defense literally shut them down all first half. That's the promise here. There's really not going to be, like, here's some real positivity. There's not going to be too many quarterbacks better than Miller Moss that we're going to play. You know, and we kept Miller Moss real honest this game. So, like, Miller Moss was, listen to this, 28 for 51. That with only a 5.5 yard average per throw, bro. That's wild. Yeah,
for Lincoln Riley, that's.
Yeah, I mean, Wink Martindale, I mean, look, the yardage wasn't the greatest. Like, if we look at the yards, I mean, USC got 379. That's not typical Michigan defense. But he did all right today. You know, we held them to 3 to 17 in third down efficiency today. We did pretty all right.
Baby Della with the 2, ceiling 11-1, floor 9-3. That is, I love that, because that's right in between my original 10-2 prediction that I did adjust. But hey, that's great.
Hey, we got Nick on the line. We'll be talking to Nick, and thanks to everyone hanging on the line, Michigan Man, Keith, and Nick. We'll be talking about record predictions. Nick's been very vocal about his record predictions.
Absolutely. We know that.
Yeah.
Jared Lake with the 5. We won on a last minute fourth down. Moore should have said we are a tough team post game. Oh, I see, because it was like the Ohio State victory against Notre Dame. Okay. I mean, except I think USC had 11 guys on the field. But other than that, I get what you're saying, though. Joe Boo, good win, but our QBs are trash, not sustainable.
Well, my counter would be, well, for one, I'll say you're not wrong. We definitely have an issue here, but the counter would be more time on task, more reps, more comfortability, playbook being crafted to fit Orgy's strengths. We do have a few games here where I feel like we should be able to secure victories, and that's against Minnesota and then Washington. I feel like we can win those games. These are going to be great tests and learning opportunities for this offense, for Alex Orgy. That's another thing too, is like, this is the first time the offense has been commanded by Alex Orgy. They're going to get more comfortable with him. The team should improve week to week going forward. Now, is there a concern? Yes, but I think we need to just understand what it is and hope that the offense can sustain drives. We'll be okay. Now, are we going to win a national title? I mean, unless Orgy develops the ability to start hitting 60 to 65% of his passes, likely not. But we're in the running for the playoffs, because I really don't see too much in front of us that should beat us. I don't think Oregon's impressive, and we do know what Ohio State is, but we'll get to that when we get to that in November,
Very true. TJ, Elisha, thanks to this super chat, just unlocked the 3rd hour of the show.
Let's go.
We're going 3 hours no matter what, y'all.
Thank you,
Let's
Elijah.
do this.
You've been MVP probably the last 2 Saturdays, along with everybody. Everybody has just come through. Again, thank you, everybody contributing to the channel. We appreciate all of you, Wolverine Nation. You guys come through for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But Elisha just is saying Orgy not launching it on that flea flicker was smart for a young QB. This is huge. This is a big statement and very accurate. For a young QB, he didn't force any bad decisions. There was one double coverage that I think that's being ticky-tack. But like, I agree with you he was exactly what Sharon Moore said he needed when he said last game in the post game, and he said on Monday when Alex Orgy was announced, he said, we need a QB that can take care of the football. And today, Alex Orgy, if nothing else, he himself took care of the football. There were turnovers, but he didn't cause them, which is improvement. That is a step in the right direction after 6 interceptions.
Yeah, I agree. And let's just, again, protecting the ball security, that's key. The way we play defense, the way we run the ball, you can win doing that. So we'll see where it takes us.
Absolutely. And then Elisha starting the 4th hour train now with the 2, and this will bring us into the defense now. Is it just me, or did Paige look very confused?
Okay, so this is something I wanted to talk about. We talked about this a little bit Thursday with Brian, known as Double BB, Double BB's Big House on Twitter, friend of the program. So one of the issues that is occurring with this defense, and I have also heard some more interesting news on this. Players on the back end, the back 7, have there's a complexity to this defense that Wink Martindale's running, and there's confusion, and there's also a lot of miscommunication. We saw this today when that wide receiver was wide open for the touchdown in the 4th quarter, John? If it wasn't the 4th, it was the 3rd. Whenever that was, we all saw the broken play there.
Yeah, it was, I think 3rd maybe. Yeah.
There's no question there is still miscommunication happening on the back end, and it's there because apparently there's complexity. And what I also heard recently is the Giants, when Wink Martindale's with the Giants, Brian Dable was saying there's a little too much complexity. Can you kind of simplify it? And Wink Martindale, this was one of the issues he had with Dable and why he's no longer in New York. So this is something we need to be aware of.
Yeah, and since we're talking defense now, this is a perfect super chat. Michael with the 2. Is Will Johnson okay? I don't know. Is the
Yeah.
answer I have.
I mean, what we know is he went to the locker room for X-rays. I mean, he jogged to the locker room. And I was thinking, well, is it a finger? Is it a hand? Well, if it is, you would tape it up. You would still play. I don't know. So I'll look right here. If I can find an update, I'll let you guys know.
All right. Yeah. So with all that said, yeah, as far as the defense is concerned, I gotta say, like across the board, we just saw more of what we like. It was closer to what we saw last year in terms of, at the very least, the mentality was back to what I like to see, the fire in everybody's belly to go after Miller Moss. There were sacks. There were players making plays. I think the biggest fault, and yes, Makari didn't have his best game, and I don't think anybody would disagree with that.
Yeah.
I think that the only gripes I have with the defense are Wink and some of his decision making. And I do think it was better. I think that I think they did more in situations that was correct. When USC had a long field and they were backed up, I think Wink made the right calls there to prevent huge plays from happening when USC was like at the 10-yard line and they were kind of backed. And there were times they had to punt from their own end zone. So that was great. Some of the decision making in terms of assignments and communication of those assignments is still not where I'd like it to be. And we've seen this. We saw it last week with the second string defense against Arkansas State. We saw it against Texas. We saw it today. And this is a theme that I'd like to see go away because that is something like the blitzing. A good quarterback is going to cook you on the blitzing if it's too much, because once they evade that initial blitz, then they can make things happen. And Miller Moss is good enough that he was able to evade the blitz at times to make plays happen to Zachariah Branch, who, let's face it, he's a very legit wide receiver. Okay, he's very legit. So I think it was better, but there were opportunities.
Definitely room for improvement, but I want to give an update on Will Johnson. So Sharon Moore is quoted as saying he could have gone back in. So he'll be all right. So yeah, Will Johnson will be okay. Good to hear.
Absolutely. We are now really digging into that 4th hour. Thanks to everybody here.
Hey, I'm here for it. We got to go 12 hours. We'll go 12 hours. I don't give a damn.
Yo, I got a whole stash here of things that I'm ready for if we go all night. John Martin with the 2. Don't we have a freshman quarterback that's from Michigan?
Okay, so yes, no, not from Michigan. He's from North Carolina. Jaden Davis. He's very highly ranked quarterback. Very fundamentally sound quarterback. All right, so there's a few things here. One, his parents would like him to redshirt for more development. 2, there is belief out of Ann Arbor that he needs more time to develop his body, to add more size, understand the playbook. And as good as he is and as impressive as he was in fall camp, there's just a belief that he needs more time before they put him into the line of fire. Because so the thing about quarterbacks, young quarterbacks, and this also goes for hockey with young goalies. If you wreck their confidence at a young age, you can wreck the player. You want to put them in a good situation so they can succeed. You don't want to put them into a position where it could potentially hurt their long-term growth potential. So that is what's going on with Jaden Davis. They're being very mindful with it. We'll see. I mean, what I think might happen, and Keith might love this, is I think if this continues, by the time Jack Tuttle's ready from his injury, and I believe it's an elbow injury from what I've heard, we may see him enter some ball games. Because I do think Jack Tuttle may offer, I hate saying this, I know Keith's loving it.
Keith is going to love this.
He may offer the best of a passing threat with some running capability. He may, just after seeing Warren and what Orgy's able to deliver, it may be a good, our best opportunity there. We'll see though. Let's see what Orgy can do. It's one game.
Can we get can we get a little bit more Drufus with the 2? Can we get a little bit more TJ and Jimmy, please?
Jimmy.
Who's Jimmy?
And I have a friend named Jimmy. I don't know if he knows my friend though. Actually, he's a really good friend.
I have no idea. Michael with the 5. Mullings maybe means me. Maybe thinks I'm Jimmy. I don't know.
Don't know who Jimmy is, Rufus.
You can call me that if you want. If you're going to super chat, that's fine.
John is for sale. You can call him whatever you want.
Michael with the 5. Mullings isn't just an upgrade. He looks like he could be one of the best running backs in college football.
All right, that is a true statement. Khalil Mullings looks like a legit running back who literally looks like an NFL running back, like a potentially solid 3rd, 4th, 5th round running back. He hits the hole so well. He's so decisive. And he also has enough speed to get a little breakaway. It baffles me outside of, and John, you were texting me. John texted me. He goes, the coaching staff must have promised Edwards something, because it's unbelievable the amount that they forced Edwards the ball to get 3-4 yards. And I will say Edwards does, but again, like, substitute it. You gotta, it's okay to have a compliment back. 70-30 split, 65-35, fine. Khalil Mullins needs to be RB1. This is not a debate. And if this continues, I'm going to be real. So I'll just say this right now. Yeah. If Sharon Moore continues to force feed Donovan Edwards over Khalil Mullins, in my opinion, the fan base needs to start getting vocal. Now, is that going to change anything? No, but you better show your damn displeasure, because that's some bullshit. Like, just, it won't change anything at the end of the day. They're not going to listen to the fans, but like, it's wild. It's wild. It's so obvious. I can't even believe they're still trying to force that ball to Donovan. We'll see next week, though. It appears to me Khalil Mullins won the job, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think at this point you can, and I did have some people, including people who are very knowledgeable about football, who were hitting me up, and they said, well, what do you think now after Donovan hit that touchdown? And my response is, I stand by what I said 100%, because Edwards needs a big hole. He doesn't have the ability as much. He has it some against weaker teams, but he needs a big hole in terms of O-line separation to be able to make his big play happen, which is why I'm saying have him on the field, have him in the slot, have him in the perimeter. But Khalil Mullings showed again today repeatedly, which is why I'm giving him, and TJ, if you have a second candidate, let me know. I originally had Josiah Stewart as the leaders in best, because of his ability to cook the left tackle. He was making plays all game, but Khalil Mullings had an incredible football game. I mean, just like, he's able to make things happen like Blake Corum, which is what I said. He reminds me of, in a playmaking capacity. He's not quite there yet, like fully, but he is by far, he is killing it in plays that are short yardage, in plays where he breaks off for touchdowns, and 159 rush yards, 2 touchdowns. You really can't ask for anything more from a feature back. And I think he's earned the job at this point. I don't think they're, if they put Donovan in again, then he was promised something.
Yeah, I'll say this. If Donovan Edwards starts the game against Minnesota, I'm gonna flip a table, bro. I'm gonna flip a freaking table, because like, it just we'll see though. Let's enjoy the victory. Hey, we beat USC.
Absolutely.
Let's go.
Dude, listen, it defied almost everybody's predictions. So good for these guys. Deserved it because they played hard. They didn't play. I will say this too. Michigan, before we get to our next couple of super chats, Michigan plays best, in my opinion, with a chip on its shoulder, with its back against the wall. And in this game, Michigan's back was against the wall. You lose this game, it is extremely unlikely you run the table the rest of the way and get into the playoff. With this game, playoff is still a possibility,
guys, we overcame one of our biggest tests of the year. This was one of the games we said, if we have Texas, USC, Oregon, and Ohio State. There's even been some people who have said, if we lose 3 games, we may still get in the playoffs. Now, I'm not saying we need to look at it like that, because I think our offense would make a playoff committee question that. But we're on a path right now where everything is still alive, everything's in front of us, and who knows? Who knows? Like, does anyone remember Jalen Milroe at the beginning of the year last year?
Yep.
Now, do I think Alex Orji is going to get to the level of competency as a Jalen Milroe? No. But do I think Alex Orji can hit another step or two in development in terms of throwing ability? Because one of the issues with Alex Orji is consistency in his throwing. It's not that he's incapable of throwing a ball. It's that sometimes his mechanics get out of whack. That's about time on task, repetition. So we'll see. You know, I think it's potentially possible. The more he plays, the better he'll. Not even potentially. I think it's likely. The more he plays, the better he will get. Now, what is his ceiling? To be determined. We'll find out. It's still early.
Absolutely. Elisha with the 2. Wink needs to throw that 0 blitz into the trash.
I think, and you're probably likely talking about that play where it looked like a busted coverage. I think there was a miscommunication on the back end. I think maybe the linebacker was supposed to cover on that blitz by the safety. I don't know. I have to look at the film again. I'm hoping we can get some all 22 access, John, and potentially do some breakdowns for the channel. But I think we might be able to. I think we might be able to. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's listen, here's the good news. We made mistakes, but we came away with the victory. So you can learn from your victories. Let's hopefully they make the right corrections. Minnesota's the next test.
All right, let's knock these out here because we just keep rolling with all
Michigan rebar. We'll get to you guys. Let's let us get through this. Thank you. And
yes, we have a message from our sponsor, and we have super chats, and then we will get to calls. But we have 3 hours, y'all, guaranteed, and trending towards the 4th.
And counting, it's going.
Absolutely. Josephine with the 2. It really seems that USC got banged up quite a bit. Yeah, they were getting knocked out left and right, man.
Hey, that is the epitome of physical Big Ten football. They learned today how hard it is. Like, today was a physical ass game, and there's no question USC felt that. As B-Dub has been saying, welcome to the Big Ten. Welcome to the Big Ten.
Absolutely. Elisha with the 5. Mullings dragging that linebacker on the 63-yard play is a play that was so sick, is a play that Donovan just can't do, and I hope the coaches see that. Thank you.
I don't disagree. To me, Donovan Edwards would probably go down there. You know, he would not be able to break that, hold his back. It's so crazy because Donovan's so well built. Like, if you look at him physically, like, he looks so well built. But Donovan's just not, in my opinion, he's just not being used properly. He's a very talented player. We saw it on the run he had, right? But there's like, they can utilize him better, and I think they need to. And Sharon needs to get better. Kirk Campbell needs to get better. They got to do better here. We got weapons. Colson Loveland, you know, obviously not here today. A weapon. Samaj Morgan, if utilized correctly, can be a weapon. Donovan Edwards is a weapon.
You just have to, and I think it's good that Sharon Moore is exerting more influence on the plays, because I think Michigan was trying to be something it's not, because they are trying to show quarterbacks and wide receivers in the future what Michigan could be capable of. The problem is that Michigan doesn't have the quarterback play or the receiver coach or the receiver talent to be able to pull off a high octane pass heavy or even pass half the time offense. It's just not there. And so you know what's even more harmful to quarterback and wide receiver recruiting than that is Michigan going 6-6 with Davis Warren throwing picks every game. That's more harm. And you're the recruiting guy. You correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's more harmful than running a lot.
Well, I think the truth is this. I think recruits look at this team and say, oh, it's actually a good team. They're missing me. Andrew Marsh is looking at this team, and he's like, oh, they need me. Trey Taylor, who has been to Michigan over 20 times, who we've interviewed, shout out to Trey Taylor, friend of the program. He's like, oh, I can do that. I can give me this offensive line, give me this running game, give me that defense. I can win us games. I saw what JJ did. See, that's the thing too, guys. The fact that JJ did what he did and got drafted in the top 10, it shows players, okay, they're missing that guy. You need that quarterback, right? And then regarding Elijah Bowman's 199 super chat here, are we allergic to the RPO? Yeah, I'd like to see more RPO. I'd also like to see some damn play action. Why are we not doing more play action? What is that? One of the best compliments to a strong running game is the play action, because defenses bite. And when you do play action, you can typically get away with some short to intermediate throws because you got linebackers moving up. It creates a gap, or it creates space for the receiver. Why are we not? I don't know. Like I don't know why we're not doing that.
There were a few times where they tried, and I don't know if you noticed what USC's secondary was doing, but when they attempted it, it didn't work because USC was really doing a good job on defense. I think they knew that the only way Alex Orji was going to pass and be successful at it, because they watch film. Lincoln Riley watches film, and they saw that the two touchdowns that Alex Orji put on the board in the pass game were short yardage. They were play action, or they were some type of rollout or some type of run to the right, throw the ball. The guy's open for so Lincoln Riley watches film. And I think they saw that wasn't working like it was in previous games. And so they tried that. That's why they rolled out the I formation at the end. That's why they rolled out. They did do a couple of things here and there, but still just way too much running up the middle, man. It was just way too much running up the middle.
Well, I'm going to rewatch. I mean, not tonight, but at some point I'm going to rewatch. I'm going to chart how many play actions we did.
It wasn't many.
I don't think it was many. And here's the thing, though. Like, as long as you are effective running the ball, the play action should always be available. There's no reason it shouldn't succeed, unless the quarterback has a hard time, through that transition doing his back steps. I mean, but I don't think that's the issue. I'd have to rewatch it again, but like, whatever. I think we need to do a better job there.
Yeah. Michael, I 100% agree. Michael with the 5. Bredesen is also so underrated. Dude is so valuable. Yes, he is. Also, CJ Charleston is a hell of a blocker for a small guy. Mm-hmm.
Ooh, okay. I actually love this. Michael Newman, excellent super chat here. $5. Thank you. We appreciate you. Okay. First of all, Bredesen, dude, this is the epitome of a Michigan man. This is like a Harbaugh guy. We have another one coming in Eli Owens, just like Michael Bredesen. Eli Owens is a dog, just like Bredesen. So look forward to that. The torch will be handed off well here. And then regarding CJ Charleston, I think a lot of the wide receivers are excellent at blocking. I think our wide receivers, we'll give our wide receivers some flowers here. They are, I would say, good to elite at run blocking. Excellent run blocking. Excellent run blocking. That's something we got going for us.
Yeah, that's one thing Ohio State didn't have for years that Michigan had. That's the one thing that the receivers, you can't fault them on, is they can block for the runners 100%. Beats and Treats with the 5. Orji is super athletic. Is Beats and Treats a company, by the way? Because consider sponsoring the Voice of College Football if you are, and we'll make it. We'll show you what we can do with the 5. Orji is super athletic. Imagine if he could pass. Yeah, just imagine. He can, but it has to be right. Opponents better pray to 5 pounds 3 ounce baby Jesus.
Yeah, they're gonna need that. They're gonna need to be on their knees praying. But we'll see. We'll see.
And finally, Drew Foos with the 2, who's back as a member. Connor Stallions. I was talking about the Michigan D. Okay.
Oh, he's talking about. I think he's talking about TJ Guy and.
Oh yeah. TJ Guy was. They put him in a little bit there.
Jimmy Reuter. Hey, Roder. Roder. In my opinion, played really well today. Barham. So let's get it. How about this? Can we? Let's get to our sponsor here, John, and then.
Yes.
We'll talk defense and we'll take these calls. So thank you again for holding on, Nick, Michigan Man, Keith Rebar, and Dub, and Justin. We'll get to you guys shortly.
Absolutely. So we really do want to we want to give our thanks to the Win Agency. So we do have a special message from the Win Agency here that we're going to load. And here we go. I had to load it back up again.
College football fans, I am Lisa Wynn, founder of Win Agency here in Bridgeport, Michigan. We are proud to be sponsoring the defending national champion Michigan Wolverine channel this season. Open enrollment for health insurance kicks off with Medicare in October, followed by Marketplace plans in November. Our website is winagency.com. Feel free to take a look and reach out to us for tailored quotes. We can assist with Marketplace, Medicare, and group health insurance plans. If you're a rival fan suffering from emotional damage from the past few seasons, chances are we serve your area too. Let us take some stress away by reviewing your 2025 health insurance plan options. We are thankful for the opportunity to sponsor this channel, and go Blue!